Hello, and welcome to another episode of TacoBytes, your daily bite of Degen, episode number 784, coming to you live from somewhere, nowhere, Dallas, Texas. We've been in Las Vegas for the last week and a half. No, not week and a half, just about a week. So it is good. We just got back home after a day of traveling. So we have a lot to catch up on. And then, tomorrow we will be doing on episode 785, we will be doing the Money 2020 tokenized swag report. I hope you guys are ready for that. But we are going to run through 19 projects today that were talked about on day 2 of tokenize during the Bit Angels pitch contest, which I was a judge of. So got to ask some of the questions and stuff like that. So I've known some of these projects. I know some of these founders. And so we ended up having to pick, there was 6 of us judges on that, and so we ended up picking, through our scoring process, 3 winners, as well as then honorable mention and best presentation for that pitch contest. And I wanted to sort of talk about each of them. Just so you can know that people outside of your circle are building things. There's a lot of stuff coming. There's a lot of stuff here that we just don't know about because we put ourselves in this echo chamber. And we try to break out of this echo chamber. It's one of those things to where you look at a project and they have 300,000 followers, and you're like, wow, that's 300,000 voices in Web3 that I don't get to hear because Twitter limits me to 5,000 followers, 6,000 followers, depending on where you're at. And so with how many follows you might have, all depends on how many followers can follow you or you can follow. So I find that very interesting. It does produce an echo chamber. Like, I would love to follow 20,000 things, but I can't. And so, but I want to talk about 19 projects today, and I'm going to run through them. And so we judged these presentations on team, product, technology, and presentation. And so, they had 3 minutes to pitch, 4 minutes to pitch, and 1 minute for question Q&A. And I do have to give, I gave a little leeway to all the projects, because there was a issue with the slide changing remote. So there was some frustration on that piece. But when you're sort of nervous and pitching for the first time or something like that, there's some different things going. So first up was Presearch. Presearch is a database platform for, sort of market analytics, as well as just different pieces of basically private Google, so using it for analytics, but also at the same time, because what they had to do is figure out how to be revenue generating, which is ads, but having privacy enabled and everything like that already. And we're seeing that sort of in Brave as well. Presearch just sort of wanted to be strictly not a browser in any way, shape, or form like Brave. They just wanted to be a new search engine that you could search for anything and have it be private. So, and they are doing a node piece on incentivized node piece where deep in with the token on base, based off of just some of was sort of the mid score for my my highest score was, I think, 33 out of 40. Presearch ranked 25, with 25 points and stuff like that. So yeah. ETZ, ETZ, they are a major They're a blockchain compatible, uh, crypto compatible IRA project. Um, they have a huge team, especially from like iTrust and a whole bunch of different trust fund pieces, but basically allows you to roll your crypto holdings into an IRA for those tax benefits. They have been live for 10 months and they already have over $450 million in assets under management. Their team was stacked. I do, they technology wise, that was their lowest score for me. And that's because they weren't trying to do anything um, innovative or new. They were just combining two different things and doing it really well and solid. And so I did give them a low score on technology simply because they weren't doing anything new. They were just taking old things and putting them together, which was really cool. They ended up. I'll tell you who the winners were at the end. Um, but they were really pushing it, and so really cool to see where they're at. With $450 million under management, they're working on their Series B right now, which is really cool. Pinecone Gardens. Pinecone Gardens ended up being my lowest score, even though they had a great pitch and they're really targeting a lot of what's really needed in the mental health side of things. Nothing was built yet, just some videos and pre-made demos on some of it, and a really helpful idea, but without an MVP. And the whole idea is adding blockchain to mental health well-being for youth. And so there it was like a combination of like Farmville and like Calm and a few other things at the same time that was aiming for the mental health pitch. Not to say it's not needed, it truly is. I haven't seen it succeed really well in Web3 so far, but because of Rebecca's lack of team, just building out an idea, whether it was her and the designer that made like the pitch and everything like that. They did a great job on that. But a lot of the work needs to be done, but like building, and she's slowly building this and been working on this to where it's at right now, which is a really good pitch video. And that's how some things start off, and it sparks ideas in people, and it's really cool to see, and so it's really important what she's doing. But that was some of my biggest pointers, AI VP, they are basically AI assistant. This is Dr. Adder. I've known him for a minute. Started working on some different use cases within the AI agent space, building some interesting things. Sort of lower on anything new and innovative in the technology side of different, use casing. There was some AI wrappers being used, and that's sometimes not the greatest point in my book. But building some cool stuff. Social AI. This is a personal AI agent and everything like that. And so one of the really cool things there is what they're doing is that personal assistant side of AI, but on your social fronts, so something that other people could interact with if they want to, like, what is your favorite food, So Third Sight. Third Sight was an interesting piece. The founder, he didn't do the greatest job on his pitch. Really nervous, and then he got completely thrown up because he'd accidentally sent in the wrong deck, and so since he was off on his deck, he was off on his presentation. One of the things I saw in a lot of the founders, they were really tied to their deck or their notes and stuff like that. And if there was anything off with that, they sort of floundered, and that was a hard thing to see. But with founders that are new at presenting, it can be a nightmare. And so that's what's one of the really cool things with different founder groups, accelerators really work on driving that pitch. But Third Sight was one of the really cool things. There is trying to tokenize good. And from that aspect, what they're doing, it's a loan lending AI agent platform. And so the other aspect is pulling in the different marketplaces where the U.S. Food Bank and other ones that are maintained around the world, restaurants or places, they're like, hey, I have 500 pounds of potatoes that are getting ready to expire, within the next week. We're taking them off our shelf. Who wants them? Now, what's one of the things where I really saw with Third Sight is it shouldn't really be geared towards the lending borrowing side of things, but asset management, almost inventory management. Because what it could do is predict like what's going to be needed, where's it going to come from, and then how do companies go and get it? Route what driver, what van, and so one of the stories he's like, companies will pay thousands of dollars a month to have their trash come and picked up, but won't pay anything to have leftover food come and picked up by before it's expired, because they're just going to throw it away. And so what if you can incentivize that, so that transportation of food items and other perishables can get from one spot to another quicker, to help those that need it most. And I thought that was a really cool piece on that. One of my top favorites was Coin Research, also aka Zoo Street. There's two parts to that. Definitely on the sort of like the whole tokenomic, analytics and everything like that. But from an institutional standpoint, that is the Coin Research side of it. And and the Zoo Street is basically meme analytics for the top 69 meme coins. Always the top 69. And so what was, on the Coin Research side, some of the technology pieces that they were pulling data points, what they were using their own custom AI agents for, was sort of interesting. They're working on their $1 million raise. For the Zoo Street side of things, they are finishing out a $420,000 and $69 raise. So having a little fun on that side of things, which is interesting. Convergence. I've known the since now months, so getting to see him pitch. He basically runs those digital vending machines that are in like a bunch of different arcades, and they're basically giving away NFTs. Instead of feeding in your tickets and getting a little eraser, you're feeding in your tickets, and the kids are getting an in-game asset, which is an NFT, to take home and play the game at home. And so that's one of those really innovative things where how they're not calling it a wallet, because some of these are trading cards and items. They're calling it a trade binder, and so I think there's some really cool things there that sort of abstract the blockchain side of it away. And they're onboarding a ton of people into blockchain without them really even knowing about it, but knowing that they own it and they can sell it if they want to. One of the big things that they're sort of pushing forward is like the AR, VR experiences and stuff like that, sort of like to drive business to different arcades and stuff like that. So like if you are playing with this game and it's an AR, VR game, like Pokemon Go, it might send you on a quest to go defend some parking lot from some evil monster. Once you defeat that monster, so for the laser tag company there is like, hey, thank you for saving us. As a token of our appreciation, here is, you're lined up for the next queue of laser tag in 30 minutes for free. And so to get foot traffic and stuff like that within businesses, and that's an interesting approach. So not just showing up somewhere and oh, let's go grab that balloon drop from Starbucks as we do in Pokemon Go, but I'm going in like defending somewhere, and the interactive side of it is, hey, thank you for saving us, here's a present. I think that's sort of a really cool thing there that they're building out. One of the next things that I saw, and this one was an interesting piece too. This comes from IceCap AI. They launched their beta day before yesterday. IceCap originally was or still is a diamond NFT marketplace. So vaulting diamonds and then creating NFTs for those diamonds to be traded on open market and everything like that. People can burn their NFT to receive the diamond, but also appreciate holdings of value in that RWA space. What I love, one of the things I love about the project, and I have to, is the founder. His name is Jack, and Jacques Voorhees. And as he likes to say, he's like, no one knows who I am, but you all might know who my son is, aka Eric Voorhees. I've known Jacques for 3-4 years now, so it's sort of hilarious, that he's made it a family affair, But what they did with IceCap AI is basically retail, enterprise grade retail personal shopper for brands, luxury brands. So knowing all of those things about a company's history, what items it has, knowing how to tailor and custom, because one of the things where what they're seeing is that people want to shop from home, but what retailers are noticing, people are spending 5 times as much in the store than they are online. And so having an AI assistant that can help guide that person through finding the things they want, rather than, having to make 6 or 7 purchases over a few different visits, reducing the amount of visits by a good shopping experience. But then what they think is that also it might save the customer a little bit of money on really finding and tailoring that experience as well for them. So they think that might be a pretty cool thing. One of the really cool ones was Lucky Bit. Lucky Bit is one of the casino pieces with blockchain components backend for provability of fair play, certification of results. But they are taking the classic form of slot machines and turning it into a first-person shooter. And so there's some interesting pieces there on how they're doing that. And I can't wait to see the demo. I can't wait to see shoot a zombie and it being, the equivalent of me pulling the arm on a slot machine. So I think that's sort of some cool stuff. They have an MVP out, but they have all of their licenses, but they're working on, and that is their non-money based beta out right now. But they're on the minimum of their $3 million seed round at a $15 million valuation. And they did pretty good all the way around with their presentation, technology use. Next up was Silk AI. Silk AI is being built by Mike Caselli, as well as the rest of his team from their current project that they've been building, Network. Sort of light on what they're actually doing, and that's one of the things you get they got so lost in like the technicals and what they're raising, rather than what their problem is and what their solution is and why they're that solution. And so he went right into the numbers and then sort of sidetracked to that. And so was one of my lowest scorer ones. Solid team on Network, but I walked away from it like a pharmacy commercial, great commercial. Whatever you're selling is supposed to make me happy. But what is this again that's wrong with me that makes me need to take this pill? So, yeah. One of the big pieces that came out was next up, Paisley, integration wallet app, on ramping, off ramping. But what they have right now is what their end goal is, a decentralized credit union by the end of 2025, mid 2026. They've been in their banking license process for a minute now. And so they are doing that on-chain account piece for as an account base bank account for people to rebank and stuff like that. And there was some cool ideas around um, supporting individuals in different communities, and the idea of a decentralized credit union and under or uncollateralized loans. Sort of cool. So they're working on some of their risk assessment algorithms left, and so they're finishing out their $2.5 million raise with roughly 1.16 million left in that raise. Next up, DoIQ. DoIQ basically is due diligence for your mom. Your mom sees some crypto project, how is she able to do diligence on it? And so that's what they're sort of making, is a due diligence platform that can go based off of both websites, smart contracts, pulling all the different data together that they can find on that, and making a report on it so that people can have like a standardized report that are new to crypto and looking to onboard. They already have like a subscription model based out. One of the cool things is their AI agents that they're using for data analytics. They're actually code contributors to Morpheus, and their open source bots that they might be agents that they're going to be placing on the Morpheus marketplace. So he didn't go super deep in that. He just sort of touched on it. And since I just talked about Morpheus the day before, part of me was wondering, oh, is he aiming that towards me, type of thing. But later on got confirmation that they are building the Morpheus ecosystem. And so, like, if you could go back and change your scores, I would, but that's sort of where I'm at it with it. Dreamality was next up. They're finishing their $1 million raise, and that $1 million raise is just for go-to-market strategy. This David Chaum, amazing person. If anyone could actually design what they were building, but basically a full Oculus within a standard pair of glasses without adding that excess weight. And so some interesting pieces. If there's anyone that can do it, that'd be David. So huge shout out to David. Next up was Hilton's Yachts in RWA. So this project that's been being built for the last 3 years by Brad Hilton of the Hilton family, Hilton Hotels, and one of the other couple of the different other arms of Hilton. And this is one of the things where they're working at curating this into the Hilton family of businesses as well. But basically, fractionalized ownership of yachts that also membership passes for events on yachts and stuff like that. Like, in short, basically timeshare for a yacht, represented by NFT and experience points and a couple different pieces there. So they're doing some big cross branding with sports brands for hosting yachts at around sporting events that are near where you can have a yacht, so private events there, as well as when that's not going on. So right now, one of the things they're doing is expanding their fleet of yachts. So if someone wants to put their yacht up, they can be tokenized, fractionalized ownership. And then what's really cool is if that yacht sells, the proceeds are passed on to the NFT holders. So I think that's sort of great, cool there. Then number 16, we had Crypticals. Crypticals was basically like a cross between like Dracula, Orb, Favor, Instagram, and Twitter all at once. And Pump.fun, because they have, with their posts and algorithms, they are having a bonding curve on likes and, retweeting that and pushing that out. So that's sort of an interesting aspect there. I liked it. That was one of my top picks, but part of their big raise, 1.5 million, is by hiring a large part of their team that they don't have on the fundamentals sides, like around finance, CFO, security, marketing, and they have their technology side down, and they're just working on expanding the team now. Next up was Gareth from Wrapped Gold. Wrapped Gold is a ERC20 protocol that basically is an LST / bundling of gold assets that are on chain right now. They have roughly, let's see here, they're doing roughly a $5 million SAFT. And they're, one of the cool things is they're providing like arbitrage opportunities for these different gold products that are on chain and certified, and doing a really cool thing there of like sort of like putting it on the open market as well, rather than just in private environment. Next up was Mindshift Meta by Joshua. They're raising 2 million at a 10.5 million valuation. Joshua was, did a great job on presenting. Really was able to answer a lot of questions really well. But one of the big things that they're sort of doing, I hate it. Everyone's like, innovative, never been done before. No one's doing this. And I'm like, oh, wait, like I just talked to like 5 other projects that are doing that. And so what they're looking at being is like an eigenlayer, or so Wrapped Gold is looking at being like the eigenlayer for gold. Mindshift Meta is looking to be like the eigenlayer for different VR metaverse experiences. So interesting piece there. Finally, we had Officially AI. Officially AI is from Rex from Hollow, and Hollow is a personal AI agent that, or chatbot that people can respond with and have it respond back in either an individual's personality and voice, or Snoop Dogg's voice, and personality. So it was a solid list of projects. As you can see, not all my notes are here, but like got to go through all of these during this piece. So was super excited about this. The winners were Bit in number 1, Convergence in second spot, and Paisley in third. Honorable mention went to ETZ, and then best presentation had to go to Travis Wright for Coins Research and Zoo Street. So as he, we were the Tokenize was held in Mike Tyson's mansion that Michael Turpin now owns, and so motifs of Mike Tyson all over every room, or every major room, and so sort of opened up his pitch to lighten everyone with a couple of laughs, but did that via impersonating Mike Tyson, and so that was sort of hilarious. And so they did get honorable mention. That is about it for tonight. We have 2 huge bags, or a bag and a half of swag to go through for Money 2020. I only ended up picking up one physical item during Tokenize, so that'll be really easy to go through, and just had a great time overall at Money 2020 and Tokenize, and I'm happy to be back home and hopefully get some good work videos done. We had a lot of amazing interviews and super happy with everything that Money 2020 had. So that is it for now. Want to wish you all the best. And we are going to end this episode as we end every episode with the same two things: our words of wisdom and the greatest, worst knock knock joke on the face of the planet. And our words of wisdom are always the same. Closed mouth cannot be fed, and you cannot feed a closed mouth, meaning if no one knows you're looking for opportunity, opportunity can never come a knocking. If opportunity does come knocking and no one answers, it's going to keep on walking. With that, I want to wish everyone a great night and a great GM. Until next time, we end with the same knock knock joke that we have said 785 times, 83 times, 783 times now. So huge shout out to everyone on LinkedIn, Player One Taco, YouTube, 0x Degens, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Telegram, Rumble, Kick, on-chain via Unlonely, and on-chain via Soul Media Tech. Shout out to everyone that's just joining us, period. I would appreciate the love of a share, repost, and follow if possible, if you're not already. But we'll see you all tomorrow for the Money 2020 tokenized 2024 swag report. Knock, knock. Who's there?